Hey guys, Stephen here with a short video on a few tips on using Zoom. Okay guys, so this is my desktop here. And so if I double click Zoom, open it up, this is what Zoom's gonna look like for most of you, even on the phone. And before I go through joining meetings on Zoom, if you head over here to this settings button and click that, you'll open up an array of different settings. And you can read through these yourself, but most of the default settings on Zoom are quite good. There's just two that I wanted to show you guys. If you go over to this video tab here, and this is where you can select which camera you'll use. But when you scroll down in this meetings section, there's a function here, turn off my video when joining meeting. And this is a great function because it means that you control when you start your video. And so when you join a meeting, your video will default be off, and then you can press to turn the video on yourself. Likewise, in the audio tab below video, there's a feature that says mute my microphone when joining a meeting. And I also like to have this checked so that you can control when you're going to be unmuted. This is also a really great function when you're joining a meeting, especially if you're a couple of minutes late. Means that you won't interrupt anyone that's already talking, and then you can decide when you want to start talking. Along that line, this function below it, press and hold space key to temporarily unmute yourself. This is a great function because rather than having to find the unmute button and click it, if you're on a laptop with a keyboard or a PC, you can just hold the space button down, the space bar, and talk. And then when you want to stop talking, you can just let go of that space bar. And so that's some settings that might be helpful. And now for joining Zoom meetings, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I've got an email open here, just a little test Zoom meeting email. Imagine you've got an email about a specific Zoom meeting. And so one of the ways you can join a Zoom meeting is just by clicking the link in that email. And so if you click this link on a computer, it'll open up a new tab and it will ask you if you want to open Zoom. And so you've got to have Zoom on your computer installed. If you click open Zoom, it'll automatically open Zoom for you and join the meeting for you as well. And you can see that here. The second way to join a Zoom meeting is if I go back to this email, you'll see that there's a meeting ID and a password. There may or may not be a password, but there'll always be a meeting ID. And so if I go to Zoom and click this join button, then this join meeting window will pop up. And so then if I go to the email and look at this meeting ID, I can just type that straight in here, 0753. And once you've typed in the meeting ID, you'll be able to join that meeting. If there is a password for the meeting, it'll ask you for that here. But if there isn't, then you'll go straight into the meeting. And so going through this little bar at the bottom when we're in the meeting, as you can see, because of these settings that I've implemented, I'll start the meeting muted and with no video. And so once I join the meeting, if I want to say hi, I can unmute myself and speak, or with that space bar, I can hold that down and it will temporarily unmute me so that I can talk. And then when I let go, I'll be muted again. I'm not able to start video right now because I'm filming this video. But if you did want to start your video, you can press that there. And you can also actually access the settings by going this arrow and then up to video settings, and you can change them there. Moving along down the bar, if you press participants, and then you'll get this participants tab open up on the right. And here you can see everyone that's in the meeting that you're in. From here, you can actually rename yourself so that other people can see your name, or you can unmute yourself from here as well. There's actually another small feature here. I'll just move this window, but at the bottom of the participant screen, there's 3 little dots. And if you click them, you'll actually have the option to raise your hand. And if you do this, a little blue hand will pop up next to you in the participants window, and the host will be able to see that. And so if your host is using this function, say for sharing good news, or if he asks a question, then you can raise your hand like that. If we look further along the toolbar at the bottom, you'll also see a chat function. And so if you click that chat function, then that'll open up below the participants window here. And this is a place where you can talk to everyone else in the meeting. And so if you type a message to everyone, everyone will be able to see that. You also could talk to specific individuals privately. If you click here, everyone else in the meeting will be shown here in this box, and you can click their name and then type a specific message to them. And so that's basically all of the functions in Zoom. There's one last function over here. If you see this reactions button, you can click that, and you can also do a little clap emote or a thumbs up emote, depending on what you want to do. And that'll just appear at the top of your screen where your face is on everyone else's Zoom. So there's a couple of tips for Zoom on the computer, but if you join Zoom from a phone, I'll also show you how to do that as well. Okay, so I've got this same Zoom invitation email open on my phone. And so if I press this link in the email, it'll open up Zoom on my phone and then join me into the meeting. And so here you've got the settings are slightly different, the layout's slightly different. You can still press participants down there on the bottom, and that'll open up all the participants that are currently in the Zoom meeting, but then you need to close that again to keep seeing the video. If you press these three dots on the bottom right, you can see some other settings for the Zoom in the phone. You can react at the top there, you can see the chat setting, and then you can type in the chat. But then again, after you've sent your message or read messages, you'll need to close that again to continue seeing the video. You can also open up that three dots and then go into meeting settings, and you can adjust the Zoom meeting settings on your phone from there. If you want to see more people than just the person speaking, you can slide to the right on your phone, and then that'll change the layout on Zoom so that you can see 4 people at once rather than just the one person speaking. So I hope you found those few tips on Zoom meetings helpful. Thanks for watching.